The alien princess baby wouldn't stop crying until a human soldier stepped in and everything changed. The crying echoed through the massive crystal palace on planet Zorax. The sound was unlike anything heard before in the royal nursery. The small, purple infant with 6 golden eyes and delicate antennae wailed for 3 days straight. No one could make Princess Lithia stop. Queen Zilara of the Zoraxian Empire paced the nursery floor, her tall, slender form casting long shadows. Her skin shimmered with stress patterns as royal attendants tried everything to soothe the baby. Nothing worked, not the ancient lullabies, not the healing crystals, not even the royal physician with his advanced medical knowledge. The queen turned to her advisor commander, Vrex. This is unacceptable. The child has not eaten or slept. The delegation from Earth arrives tomorrow to discuss the peace treaty. How can I negotiate when my daughter will not stop this noise, Commander? Vrex bowed her scaled head. We have tried everything, Your Majesty. Perhaps we need to look beyond our knowledge. The queen narrowed her primary eyes. What do you suggest? Perhaps the humans. The commander spoke carefully. They are primitive but have thousands of years caring for their own young. They might know something we do not, the queen hissed in displeasure. Humans taking care of Zoraxian royalty. Unthinkable. Yet as another piercing wail cut through the air, she relented. Very well. Contact the Earthship. Tell them we require assistance. With a royal matter aboard, the USS Harmony Lieutenant Kate Miller received the strange request. The young soldier had been on many diplomatic missions but never one involving alien babies. As the ship's medic with specialization in pediatrics, she was chosen to help. This is highly unusual, Captain Kate said as she packed her medical kit. The Zoraxians barely let humans into their outer chambers, let alone their royal nursery. Captain Diane Powell nodded. This could be a breakthrough in human-Zoraxian relations, Lieutenant. Just be respectful and follow their protocols. The peace treaty depends on positive interactions. When Kate arrived at the Crystal Palace, she was led through winding corridors by stern Zoraxian guards. Their armor clicked against the floor as they walked deeper into the palace than any human had gone before. They finally reached the royal nursery where the crying was almost deafening. Queen Zilara looked down at the small human female with suspicion. Can you help my daughter? Human Kate bowed as she had been trained. Human babies cry for specific reasons, Your Majesty. May I examine her? The queen nodded reluctantly, and the royal attendants stepped aside. Kate approached the floating crib where the purple infant thrashed and wailed. Her training had prepared her for human babies, not alien ones, but some principles had to be universal. The tiny princess had 6 golden eyes, all leaking tears. Her skin glowed faintly in distress patterns, similar to her mother, with gentle movements. Kate examined the baby, checking for obvious signs of pain or discomfort. She noticed how the attendants had wrapped the infant tightly in ceremonial blankets, restricting her movement. The room was perfectly still and silent except for the crying. Too perfect. Too controlled. Kate looked up at the queen. Your Majesty, on Earth, babies sometimes need gentle movement and sound to feel secure. In the womb, they hear heartbeats and feel constant motion. May I try something? The queen gestured. Her permission, Kate carefully unwrapped some of the tight blankets, giving the baby more freedom. Then she lifted Princess Lithia and held her against her chest. She began to walk slowly around the room, bouncing gently. The movement was small, but rhythmic. She started humming a simple tune her grandmother had taught her. The vibration from her chest transmitted to the small alien body. Princess Lithia hiccuped once-twice, her wailing reduced to whimpers. The Zoraxian attendants gasped, some moved forward, but the queen raised a hand to stop them. Let the human continue. Kate continued walking and humming. She remembered something from her training. Sometimes babies were overwhelmed by new sensations. She gently covered the princess's lower set of eyes, reducing stimulation. The whimpering decreased further. On Earth, we sometimes swaddle babies but leave their arms free. Kate explained softly as she demonstrated. It gives them security but also freedom. She adjusted the blanket, showing the attendants. The princess made a chirping sound and her small antenna twitched. Kate smiled. She might be hungry now that she feels more comfortable. The royal attendant brought the special formula. The queen herself approached, looking amazed and uncertain. She took her daughter from the human soldier. Princess Lithia looked up at her mother. Her golden eyes blinked slowly. She accepted the feeding tube without protest and began to eat. Impossible. The queen whispered. How did you know? Sometimes. Babies need different stimulation than adults, Kate explained. Our young respond to movement, sound, and touch. They need to feel secure yet free enough to move. It helps them adjust to life outside the womb. The queen studied Kate with new interest. You know much about caring for young. Kate smiled. Just basic training, Your Majesty. Human babies are similar in some ways. For 5 cycles, the princess ate, then finally drifted to sleep. The silence in the nursery felt miraculous. Commander Vrex approached. Kate, the queen wishes you to remain until tomorrow to teach our attendants these human techniques. Kate sent a message to Captain Powell requesting permission to stay. The captain agreed immediately, recognizing the diplomatic opportunity. That night, Kate slept in a chamber near the nursery. The alien bed was designed for much taller beings but was surprisingly comfortable. She woke twice when attendants called her for help with the princess. Each time she showed them new techniques, and the baby settled quickly. By morning, Princess Lithia had established a pattern of feeding and sleeping. The royal staff watched Kate with growing respect, learning her methods and adapting them to their own physiology. The queen herself came to observe, asking questions about human child-rearing practices. Kate learned that Zoraxian children developed much faster than human babies, but needed more sensory input during their early days. Their 6 eyes took time to coordinate, and too much stillness confused their developing senses. The princess responded well to gentle movement and rhythm, just like human infants. Word spread through the Crystal Palace about the human who calmed the royal baby. The Zoraxian court members whispered among themselves as Kate walked the halls with Princess Lithia. Some watched with suspicion, others with curiosity. None could deny the results. The princess now slept and ate normally. Her distress patterns had faded, leaving her purple skin with a healthy glow. Queen Zalara called Kate to the throne room. The massive chamber sparkled with crystal formations that captured and amplified light. The queen sat on a floating throne, her long robes cascading to the floor. Guards stood at attention, their weapons humming with energy. Lieutenant Miller. The queen began, her voice echoing in the vast space. You have done what our best physicians could not explain, how you succeeded where they failed. Kate stood tall but kept her head slightly bowed in respect, as she had been advised. Your Majesty, humans have evolved alongside our children for thousands of years. We learned, through trial and error, what soothes them. The techniques are simple but effective. The queen's 6 eyes blinked in sequence. My advisors tell me that humans are physically weak compared to Zoraxians, yet you possess knowledge we lack. Despite your primitive technology, you understand something fundamental about caring for young. Kate chose her words carefully. Different species develop different strengths. Your Majesty, humans may not have your advanced technology, but we have deep experience with nurturing. We evolved as social creatures who depend on each other. The queen leaned forward. The peace delegation arrives today. They will discuss trade technology, exchange, and defensive alliances. I want you present at these meetings. Kate was surprised my role was only to help with the princess. The queen's antennae twitched. You have shown that humans have value beyond what we previously understood. I wish you to observe and speak if asked. When the Earth delegation arrived that afternoon, they were surprised to see Lieutenant Miller standing near the Zoraxian throne. Captain Powell led the human representatives. Her eyes widened slightly at seeing her crew member in such a prominent position, but she maintained her diplomatic composure. Carter IK. Talks began formally with presentations from both sides. The humans offered trade agreements and technological cooperation. The Zoraxians countered with limited access to certain areas of space. The negotiations proceeded as expected until Queen Zilara raised her hand for silence before we continue. I wish to share something. The Queen gestured to Kate. Lieutenant Miller has cared for my daughter when our own methods failed. She has shown that humans possess wisdom we do not. I believe this merits reconsideration of our position. Captain Powell glanced at Kate, who stood straighter under the attention. The Queen continued. I propose expanding our cultural exchange program to include childcare practices, medical knowledge, and educational systems. These areas were not in our original proposal. The human delegates looked at each other in surprise. This was more than they had hoped for. Captain Powell stepped forward. We would be honored to share such knowledge and to learn from your people as well. The negotiations took a new direction after that moment. Barriers lowered on both sides. The Zoraxians offered access to their medical databases in exchange for human childcare expertise. The humans proposed joint research projects, studying development across species. During a break in the talks, Kate found herself approached by Ambassador Linda Wright, the lead human negotiator. The ambassador smiled warmly. I don't know what you did, Lieutenant, but you've accomplished more in 2 days than our diplomatic corps has in 2 years. Kate explained about the princess and the simple techniques she had used. The ambassador shook her head. Sometimes the most profound connections come from the most basic needs, even across the stars. Babies need comfort and parents need help. When the talks resumed, Queen Zilara made an unexpected request. She asked if Lieutenant Miller could remain on Zorax for 1 lunar cycle to establish a training program for the royal nursery staff. The request surprised everyone, especially Kate. Captain Powell consulted with Ambassador Wright, then agreed Lieutenant Miller would stay as a special envoy, focusing on childcare exchange. The diplomatic team would provide support, but Kate would lead the project. That evening, Kate contacted her family on Earth using the ship's communication system. Her mother appeared on screen, her face lighting up when she saw her daughter. Mom, you won't believe what happened. Kate explained her new assignment. Her mother smiled. Remember when you used to rock your baby brother for hours when he was colicky? Now you're doing the same for alien royalty. Kate laughed. I'm using everything you taught me after the call. Kate stood on the balcony of her chamber, looking at the 3 moons of Zorax. The alien world glowed with bioluminescent forests and crystal formations. She thought about how strange her path had been, from military medical training to diplomatic breakthrough through the simple act of comforting a baby, though why? Next morning, Kate began her new role. She worked with the royal nursery staff, teaching them human techniques and learning Zoraxian methods. She discovered that Zoraxian children developed telepathic abilities early and needed special care during this phase. Human touch actually helped stabilize these emerging abilities, something the Zoraxians had never considered. Princess Lithia thrived under the new care routine. Her telepathic patterns strengthened and stabilized weeks ahead of normal development. The Queen visited the nursery daily, watching with approval as her daughter grew stronger. Kate developed a training program for the staff incorporating both human and Zoraxian knowledge. She documented everything, creating manuals that could be used after she returned to Earth. The project expanded as noble families requested similar training for their nursery attendants. Ambassador Wright visited Kate after 2 weeks. The program is exceeding all expectations, she said. The Queen has approved technology exchanges that we've sought for years. All because you knew how to comfort a crying baby. Kate shook her head. It seemed so simple. The ambassador placed a hand on Kate's shoulder. The most powerful diplomacy often comes from basic human connection, not complex negotiations. What you've done here will change our relationship with the Zoraxians for generations. Kate continued her work with renewed purpose. She organized exchanges where Zoraxian childcare specialists could visit Earth to learn human methods and human pediatricians could study Zoraxian development. The program became the foundation for broader cultural understanding. Not everyone on Zorax welcomed the new human influence. Grand Minister Zoltan, leader of the traditional faction, appeared in the royal court, demanding an audience with the Queen. Kate watched from her position near the nursery entrance as the tall, Imposing Zoraxian male strode into the throne room. His ceremonial armor gleamed with ancient symbols. His eyes blazed with anger. "Your Majesty." Zoltan began, his voice echoing through the crystal chamber. "You allow these humans too much access to our sacred traditions. The royal nursery is the heart of our future. Letting outsiders influence our young is dangerous." The queen remained calm on her floating throne. "These humans have helped Princess Lithia thrive. They share knowledge freely, asking little in return." Zoltan's antennae quivered with emotion. "They are primitive beings barely emerged from their own planet. Their presence here threatens our culture, our way of life. Already our young ones mimic human behaviors." Several council members nodded in agreement, murmuring among themselves. Kate felt tension growing in the room. She stood still, trying to appear respectful, while Zoltan continued his attack. The Grand Minister pointed at Kate. "The human female has no right to teach our royal attendants. Zoraxian methods perfected over thousands of years are being abandoned for primitive practices." Queen Silara raised her hand, silencing the chamber. "Lieutenant Miller's methods work." Grand Minister. "The princess develops faster and stronger than expected. The royal physician confirms this." Zoltan stepped closer to the throne. "We cannot allow humans to influence the next generation. The princess will one day rule our empire. She must be raised in our traditions, not human ones. I demand the human be removed and our ancient practices restored." The queen's skin flashed with anger patterns. "I rule here, not you. The decision is mine." The Grand Minister bowed stiffly, but his eyes showed defiance. "As you wish, Your Majesty. But know that many noble houses share my concerns." He turned and marched from the throne room. His supporters following behind, Kate approached the throne when summoned. The queen looked troubled, her usually perfect posture slightly stooped. "Pay no attention to Zoltan. He clings to old ways, refusing to see new possibilities." Kate spoke carefully. "Your Majesty, his concerns are understandable. I represent something unknown. Change is often frightening." The queen studied Kate. "Perhaps you understand more than I realized, Lieutenant Miller. It is not just about the princess anymore. This is about the future of our relationship with Earth." That evening, Kate received an urgent message from Ambassador Wright. "Meet me in the embassy gardens immediately. Security concerns." Gardens were designed to accommodate both species, with sections for earth plants and Zoraxian crystal flora. Kate found the ambassador waiting beside a fountain, its waters glowing with bioluminescent organisms. "We have a problem," the ambassador said, keeping her voice low. "Our intelligence suggests Zoltan is planning to discredit you, possibly by harming the princess and blaming human influence." Kate felt cold dread. "How reliable is this information?" Very Zoltan met with several noble houses, all opposed to the alliance with Earth. They fear human influence will weaken Zoraxian culture. The princess is developing differently than traditional Zoraxian children. They see this as proof of corruption. "What should I do?" Kate asked. "Stay vigilant," the ambassador advised. "We've informed the queen through secure channels. She's increased security around the nursery but can't act openly without proof. Keep the princess safe while we gather evidence." Kate returned to her duties with new awareness. She noticed subtle changes in the palace. Guards watched her more closely. Some attendants became distant, while others grew more protective of her. Princess Lithia, now 3 weeks old, was developing rapidly. Her telepathic abilities strengthened daily. She often reached for Kate with both hands and mind-forming attachments unusual for Zoraxian infants. One evening, while Kate was demonstrating bathing techniques to the attendants, the lights in the nursery flickered, then went dark. Emergency lights activated, casting eerie shadows across the walls. The attendants moved to protect the princess surrounding her. Crib, Kate heard the hum of the security system failing. Something was wrong. She tapped her communication device but found it jammed. "Stay with the princess," she told the senior attendant. "I'll check the security panel in the antechamber." Kate found the guards unconscious. She checked their pulses, both alive but deeply sedated. She grabbed one of their weapons, a neural disruptor designed to incapacitate without killing. Behind her, a door slid open. Two figures entered wearing ceremonial masks of the traditional faction. Kate recognized their insignia as Zoltan's followers. She raised the weapon. "Stand down." The intruders hesitated, surprised to find a human armed and alert. One reached for a weapon Kate fired. The neural disruptor sent the attacker crumpling to the floor. The second intruder lunged at her. Kate dodged, but the Zoraxian's greater reach caught her arm. Pain flared as claws tore through her uniform. Kate fired again, missing as the attacker moved with incredible speed. The Zoraxian knocked the weapon from her hand and pinned her against the wall. "You interfere with matters beyond your understanding, human." The nursery door slid open. The senior attendant stood there holding a Zoraxian defense staff. She fired without hesitation. The attacker convulsed and fell. More guards arrived, led by Commander Vrex. Kate explained what happened as medics treated her injured arm. Queen arrived minutes later, her robes flowing behind her. She surveyed the scene with cold fury. "These attackers wear the insignia of Zoltan's house," she observed. Her eyes narrowed. "You protected my daughter at risk to yourself." "Lieutenant." Kate winced. "As the medic sealed her wound, I did my duty." "Your Majesty," Commander Vrex approached with a data tablet. "We found evidence in their communications. Zoltan planned to kidnap the princess, claim she was harmed by human influence, and demand all humans be banned from Zorax." The Queen's skin flashed with rage patterns. "Zoltan will face justice for this treachery." She turned to Kate. "You have proven your loyalty beyond question, Lieutenant Miller. Your actions tonight have saved not only my daughter, but perhaps our alliance as well." Word of the attempted kidnapping spread quickly through the palace. By morning, the full court knew how Kate had defended the princess. Zoltan was arrested. His supporters questioned many who had doubted the human. Presence now reconsidered their position. Ambassador Wright visited Kate in the medical chamber. "You've become quite the hero," she said. "The Queen is using this incident to solidify support for the human alliance." Kate shook her head. "I just did what anyone would do," the ambassador smiled. "That's exactly what makes you so effective, Lieutenant. You don't see yourself as special, but to the Zoraxians your actions speak volumes. You've shown them humanity at its best." After the attempted kidnapping, Queen Zalara made a bold decision. She announced that Lieutenant Kate Miller would become Princess Lithia's official guardian, a position traditionally held only by high-ranking Zoraxians. The court buzzed with surprise, but few dared oppose the Queen after Zoltan's treachery was exposed. Kate was stunned by the appointment. "Your Majesty, this is an enormous honor, but I'm scheduled to return to Earth next week." The Queen stood by the nursery window watching crystal formations grow on the outer walls. "My daughter responds to you, Lieutenant. Her development accelerates in your presence. Our physicians believe your bioelectric field stabilizes her telepathic growth in ways we cannot replicate. I ask you to stay." 1 full Zoraxian year. Kate knew this meant 15 Earth months, a significant commitment. Captain Powell would need to approve such an extended assignment. The Queen seemed to read her thoughts. "I have already spoken with your captain and your ambassador," she said. "They agree this position serves both our peoples. You will have regular returns to your ship and communication with your family. Do you accept?" Kate looked at the small princess who reached up with tiny hands, her golden eyes blinking in sequence. "I accept, Your Majesty." The formal ceremony took place 3 days later in the Grand Hall. The entire court assembled to witness this unprecedented event. Kate wore her dress uniform modified with Zoraxian symbols of protection. The Queen presented her with a crystal amulet marking her as royal guardian. "By accepting this role, you become part of the royal household." The Queen announced, her voice carrying through the vast chamber. "Lieutenant Miller will have authority over the princess's care and education. She will select staff train attendants and implement new care protocols combining the best of our traditions with human knowledge." Kate stood tall, feeling the weight of both opportunity and responsibility. She spoke the ritual, words in careful Zoraxian, placing her hand on the crystal oathstone. I pledge to protect, guide, and nurture Princess Lithia until she comes of age. I will honor Zoraxian traditions while bringing the best of human knowledge to her care. The stone glowed, acknowledging her oath. The court members touched their foreheads in respect. Even those who had opposed human influence could not deny the solemnity of the moment. Kate's new position came with chambers adjoining the royal nursery. She established a communication link with Earth, allowing regular contact with her family and medical consultations with human pediatricians. She began learning Zoraxian language and customs, immersing herself in the culture to better serve her role. Princess Lithia grew rapidly. Her telepathic abilities strengthened under Kate's care. The human's mind provided a stable pattern for the developing princess to follow. Kate discovered she could sense the baby's basic emotions through their growing bond. This connection, unprecedented between their species, fascinated the royal physicians. Word of this success spread beyond the palace. Other noble houses began requesting human advisors for their nurseries. Earth sent specialists in child development to meet the growing demand. What had begun with one crying baby expanded into a cultural exchange affecting the entire upper class of Zoraxian society. 6 months into her assignment, Kate received a message from her mother. "Your father and I are so proud of you, honey, but we miss you terribly." Kate arranged for her parents to visit Zorax, a first for non-diplomatic human civilians. The Queen approved, personally curious to meet the humans who had raised such an exceptional daughter. Susan and Bill Miller arrived. Wide-eyed at the Crystal Palace, Kate greeted them with tears and hugs, then introduced them to the princess. Now the size of a human toddler, though only half a year old, Lithia chirped with excitement, reaching for Kate's mother with all 4 arms. "She has your energy," Susan remarked as the princess examined her with curious golden eyes. "You always wanted to touch everything, too." Kate's parents spent 2 weeks on Zorax meeting the Queen, touring the capital city and helping with the princess. The Queen was particularly interested in Susan's child-rearing methods, asking detailed questions about how she had raised Kate. "You created a warrior with a healer's heart," the Queen observed. "How did you balance these qualities?" Susan smiled. "Children find their own paths. We just provide love, guidance, and opportunities." Kate always wanted to help others from the time she could walk. Before departing, Susan gave the Queen a handmade baby quilt for Princess Lithia. The simple gift touched the Zoraxian ruler more deeply than any diplomatic present. The Queen in turn gifted the Millers with royal crystals that would allow them to communicate directly with their daughter across the vast distance between worlds. As Princess Lithia reached her first year, her development accelerated. She began speaking both Zoraxian and simple English phrases. Her telepathic abilities allowed her to connect with Kate, sharing images and emotions. The human-Zoraxian bond strengthened, becoming a symbol of the growing alliance between their worlds. Kate established a training academy for cross-species childcare. The Queen provided a crystal tower near the palace, where human and Zoraxian specialists could exchange knowledge. The program expanded to include educators, medical professionals, and child psychologists from both worlds. Research flourished as they discovered universal principles of development that transcended biological differences. On the anniversary of Kate's arrival, a grand celebration honored her service. The Queen announced a new initiative. The Princess Lithia Foundation would provide education and care for children throughout the empire, using the combined methods developed over the past year. Kate stood before the court no longer an outsider but an integral part of Zoraxian society. She had learned their language, adopted many customs, and earned their respect. She addressed the assembly in fluent Zoraxian. "Year ago, I came here to help a crying baby," she began. "What I found was a new understanding of what unites us across the stars. The care of our young transcends our differences. It reveals our shared hopes for the future." The Queen stepped forward, presenting Kate with a ceremonial blade of office symbolizing her permanent status in the royal household. "Lieutenant Miller has shown us that strength comes in many forms," she announced. "Her human compassion has become part of our daughter's heritage and our empire's future." That evening, Kate stood on her balcony watching Zorax's 3 moons rise. Princess Lithia, now walking steadily, joined her. The young princess placed her small purple hand in Kate's family, the princess said in her developing speech patterns. Yes, Kate answered with a smile. We are family. Across the galaxy, Earth and Zorax continued their diplomatic dance. Agreements were signed, technology exchanged. But the strongest bond between their worlds began with a crying baby and a human soldier who knew how to help. 10 years passed on planet Zorax. Princess Lithia grew into a remarkable child. Her 6 golden eyes sparkled with intelligence. Her purple skin shimmered with the royal patterns of her lineage. Yet she was unlike any Zoraxian royal before her. She moved with a blend of Zoraxian grace and human expressiveness. She spoke both languages fluently and understood both cultures deeply. Kate watched with pride as the princess demonstrated her latest achievement, a complex telekinetic manipulation, moving crystal formations into artistic patterns. The human guardian now held the rank of commander in Earth's diplomatic corps, but her primary duty remained with Lithia. Well done, Kate said, as the princess completed the demonstration. Your control has improved significantly. Lithia lowered the crystals gently. Did you see how I maintained the structural integrity while changing the formation? That was the difficult part, Kate nodded. Your focus is excellent. The royal tutor will be impressed. The princess approached her human guardian, hesitating slightly. I received a message from the academy. They want me to join the diplomatic youth program. I would be the first royal to attend. The Academy of Interspecies Relations was a joint Earth-Zoraxian institution Kate had helped establish. It brought together gifted children from both worlds, teaching them to become future leaders in the growing alliance. Kate considered the request. The Queen would need to approve. Lithia's antennae twitched with excitement. Mother already said I could go if you agree. She values your opinion above the royal advisors. This didn't surprise Kate. Over the years, Queen Zalara had increasingly relied on her judgment, especially regarding Lithia's development. The Human Zoraxian childcare program had proven so successful, it had spread throughout the empire, becoming standard practice for noble families. Kate smiled. Of course you should go. Your perspective will be valuable to the other students, and their perspectives will benefit you. Lithia hugged Kate with all 4 arms. Thank you, I want to understand humans better. To learn how they think, the way you taught me. Later that day, Kate met with Queen Zalara in the royal gardens. The Queen had changed over the years, becoming more open to new ideas. Her traditional robes now incorporated elements of human design, a subtle symbol of cultural integration. The Queen gestured to a crystal bench. My daughter tells me you approved her request to attend the academy. Kate sat beside the Queen, noting how comfortable such informality had become between them. The academy will challenge her in ways the royal tutors cannot. She needs to interact with children from different backgrounds, both Zoraxian and human. The Queen's antennae moved thoughtfully. When you first came here, I saw humans as primitive, useful for trade perhaps, but intellectually limited. I believed our telepathic abilities made us superior. Now I understand differently. Our species complement each other. Your emotional intelligence balances our logical minds. Kate had learned that such directness was the Zoraxian way. It no longer surprised her. Your Majesty, our differences have become our greatest strength. The Queen looked across the garden where crystal formations grew alongside earth plants in strange, beautiful harmony. When Lithia takes the throne, she will be the first ruler to truly understand both worlds. She will lead our empire into a new era. The following month, Kate accompanied Princess Lithia to the academy. The sprawling campus featured architecture from both worlds. Crystal spires rose alongside earthen domes. Students of both species mingled in the courtyards. Some human children displayed basic telepathic sensitivity, a recent discovery that had excited scientists on both planets. The Academy Director Sharon Taylor greeted them at the entrance. Commander Miller, welcome back, she said before bowing to the princess. Your Highness, we are honored by your presence. Lithia returned, the bow with perfect human etiquette. I look forward to learning with the other students. Kate helped the princess settle into her quarters, designed to accommodate her Zoraxian physiology while incorporating human elements. The princess would spend 5 days at the academy, then return to the palace for 2 days. This arrangement allowed her royal duties to continue, while giving her the full academy experience. That evening, Kate prepared to return to the palace. Lithia stood in the doorway, her royal confidence momentarily replaced by childish uncertainty. "Will you visit often?" Kate smiled. "Every few days, and you can contact me anytime through our link." The queen had gifted them with paired crystals allowing telepathic communication across distances. Lithia nodded. "Will the other students accept me? Not just as a princess, but as me?" Kate recognized the universal fear of any child facing a new environment, royal or not. Some things transcended species. You have a good heart and an open mind, Lithia. That matters more than your title or your species. Be yourself and the right friends will find you. Lithia hugged her guardian once more. "Thank you, Mother, for everything." The words touched Kate deeply. Over the years, Lithia had occasionally called her mother, especially in moments of emotion. The queen had never objected, understanding the unique bond between them. Kate returned to her duties at the palace, which now included directing the interspecies development program. She had assembled a team of specialists from both worlds researching how Zoraxian and human children could benefit from cross-cultural care. The program had expanded beyond childcare to education, psychology, and medicine. 6 months into Lithia's academy attendance, Kate received an urgent message from Director Taylor. "The princess has made a remarkable discovery. We need you here immediately." Kate arrived at the academy to find Lithia in the research laboratory surrounded by scientists of both species. The princess was demonstrating something extraordinary. She held her hands over a human child who suffered from a neurological condition. The boy sat calmly as Lithia's purple fingers emitted a soft golden light. "What's happening?" Kate asked. Director Taylor explained. Princess Lithia discovered she can use her telepathic abilities to temporarily stabilize human neurological patterns. The effect lasts several days, providing relief from symptoms. The process doesn't harm her and benefits the human children significantly. Kate watched amazed as the boy's tremor subsided. He looked up at Lithia with gratitude. The princess smiled, continuing the treatment until the golden light faded. "I can feel their neural patterns," Lithia explained later. "They're different from Zoraxian minds, but I can sense the disruptions and help stabilize them." News of this discovery spread quickly. Queen Zalara authorized a full research program. The ability to treat human neurological conditions using Zoraxian telepathy opened new medical frontiers. Families from Earth traveled to Zorax seeking treatment. Teams of human and Zoraxian scientists worked to understand the mechanism and train other telepathically gifted Zoraxians in the technique. On Lithia's 15th birthday, a ceremony honored her achievements. The princess stood before representatives from both worlds, no longer a child but a young leader, embodying the best of both species. Kate watched from beside the queen, her heart full of pride. Earth's ambassador stepped forward, presenting Lithia with a ceremonial gift. "This telescope was made on Earth but uses Zoraxian crystal lenses," she explained. "It represents how our worlds see farther together than either could alone." Lithia accepted the gift with grace, then addressed the assembly. "When I was an infant, a human soldier soothed my cries. She taught my people that sometimes the oldest, simplest wisdom matters most. Today we continue to learn from each other. Our differences are not barriers but bridges." Later that evening, Lithia found Kate on the palace balcony. They stood together watching the stars. The princess now matched Kate in height, her royal bearing dignified beyond her years. "I found records of when you first came here," Lithia said. Her voice had matured into the melodious tones of Zoraxian royalty but retained traces of human inflection. "You changed everything by simply knowing how to comfort a baby." Kate smiled. "Sometimes the smallest actions have the greatest impact." Lithia nodded thoughtfully. "When I become queen, I want our worlds to grow even closer. Not just allies, but true partners in exploring the galaxy." Kate looked at the young princess, seeing the future of 2 worlds standing before her. "You will lead both our peoples to places we cannot yet imagine." Lithia I believe that with all my heart. The princess took Kate's hand, her purple fingers intertwining with human ones, all because you knew how to stop a baby from crying. Together they watched the 3 moons rise over the crystal forests of Zorax, their shared legacy stretching before them like the stars above.